Moonies, welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with Dawn. She's one of the founding members of Danity Kane, a member of the trio Diddy Dirty Money. She also owns Papa Ted's, aka New Orleans' first eco-friendly sensory experience, and she's a part of the Adult Swim Singles Initiative. And I'm super hyped to have her on the podcast. Thank you so much for being on here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good and happy to be here. That was a really awesome intro, so thank you.
Yeah. I was just like reading through all your bios, and I was like, she's doing so many amazing things. I need to just list everything that I can.
That's what's up. Thank you.
So the first question I ask everyone, since this is the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast, is what's your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
Man, I had to be in my teens. Like, I feel like I was early teens, and I was over the moon that these bomb girls were like fighting crime in like schoolwear. And it threw me for a loop at first because I was like, I went to private school my whole life. And so like, I don't know, I was already a fan of anime culture, and just literally from kawaii culture to anime culture, I was already drawing at that level. Like when I was 12 or 13, I got introduced to Bleach. And so I was already animating. But then the idea of these kick-ass girls walking around just kicking ass and taking names, but also in preppy outfits were like next level. And then to find out that they were like from other planets, they were named from different planets, I just felt like they were on my wavelength. And I had not seen anything like that. Everything we were watching in anime that was coming over in the States was mostly male-driven.
Right.
So it was one of those, like a lot of the anime, like I said, like I loved Bleach, a lot of the stuff that I was watching, was heavily male. And then here comes this incredible, animation that was finally showing and syndicated on national television in the U.S. And it was women and it was girls and it was a group of them, not one or two, but like, these girls named after the planets kicking ass. And that was the first time I was jarred into wanting to draw female characters. And also like having an affinity for wanting to come home and like see every fucking episode.
Right. Yeah. I can definitely relate to that.
That was, like that, to the point where you were, I already had my uniform. So like I would come home and, it's Catholic out here. It's crazy. So like, like it's like super strict. So when I come home, I roll that skirt up, get those hairs and that pigtails, and let's get it. Like that was the thing for me. And I remember the first time I saw it being like, yes, like finally, like girls kicking ass and taking names. Yes.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite Sailor Scout?
Man, Mars all day. Like Ray, she's amazing to me. And like again, Ray Hino, she's Ray Hino, that's her name, but she's the princess of Mars. But again, I'm a Leo, so the fact that she can control fire, the fact that she can get water, evil spirits, like, I don't know, I just related to her on a whole nother level. And I also liked her past history, but again, anything that's fire, that controls fire, she had a darkness to her, a quietness to her, everyone always wanted to be Sailor, and I always felt like Mars had this mystery about her, even her dark hair, like, I don't know, I just kind of related to her more. Usually when the girls are the more quieter ones that have like a lot of fire in them, to me, that like, even when I look at comics and I love, like I would gravitate toward Phoenix, like Jean Grey, like to me Sailor Mars she was a soldier to me that I could relate to.
Yeah. Sailor Moon was awesome.
What was your favorite?
My favorite was Sailor Moon.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, but I also just like identified with her as like being like very, kind of like a crybaby a little bit. Also like just not the perfect person, but also
she's a brat.
Yeah, she's a little bit of brat, but like that like duality of like not being perfect, but also being like the chosen one. Like, oh, like you still have like all this responsibility, and you still have to like figure it out, even if you like don't have the right skill set to do it.
Right.
Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Love that.
But thank you for asking. Not everyone does.
No, of course. I want to know too. Sure.
Yeah. And so I saw that you tweeted, this is how I figured out you were a Sailor Moon fan. You tweeted that if there was ever a live action Sailor Moon movie, you would want to be Kat. So Would
Oh,
Sailor
hell yeah.
Mars be the one you would want to be cast as?
Hell yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I think women of color need to be definitely approached and picked for these things because I don't know, I feel like sometimes we get counted out, especially in anime culture when really, even though there aren't a lot of people of color initiated as heroes, they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to put some color to that aesthetic, and I would be Mars all day.
Yeah.
All day. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, sign me up. Yeah, sign me up. I would love to do that. I hope they do a live action.
Me too. So I also read that Danity Kane was based on an anime character that you created.
Yes.
How did that happen?
In high school, my art teacher asked us to draw. Like, I was really like, I was an extrovert in high school, but I wasn't. I was like, I could get along with everyone, but I would rather have been to myself. And so, like, I felt like the artistic side of me was quite quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really awesome art teacher, and she understood that. And so we were drawing a lot of, she wanted us to draw alter egos. And I was having a battle within myself of just really, like, not always feeling like I was bigger than, I felt like there was more to me, but I didn't really get an opportunity to express that. And so I really connected with that. And so I drew this really awesome character. Her name was Danity Kane. Don't ask me why I came up with that name at the time, but I love the idea of the DK. And I love the way it looked visually. When you draw the dynamic of lettering, my grandfather has been painting his whole life. He even paints signs for all of the Mardi Gras, for the Zulu parades. So he's always done that. And so I used to grow up around him painting signs. And the aesthetic of lettering has always been something of calligraphy has always been something of a guilty pleasure of mine. And Danity Kane visually looked really cool when I was drawing the lines of when I created the character, but she was this bomb-ass redhead, chocolatey brown superhero. And the cool thing was, again, being a Leo, fire with her aesthetic, her eyes, everything was in the eyes. So lo and behold, when Puff was asking us what we wanted to name ourselves, I don't know, I went back to all the groups that I loved growing, like when I was growing up, my music, I loved Bjork, I loved Portishead. I was fans of Case Choice, Biff Naked. These are all rock bands with incredible, the Cranberries with great, great names. And I just felt like it'd be really cool if a pop group had a name that wasn't so fucking cliche or like any other pop band. Because, when you're R&B and pop, you have names like, Kindred Love, and Puff wanted to call us Queen Five, and I was just like, why can't we be like a rock band? Like, why can't we be like the Rolling Stones or Hoobastank or like Aphex Twin and have like a really fucking cool name that just doesn't even mean anything? And like it, and I said, well, I drew this character once, you guys, we could be like a super hero character from a fucking anime name and just blow people completely left. And they all looked at me like, and then it kept sticking. It kept sticking, and then, we were looking for other names, and nothing really had the same ring to it. And lo and behold, I think we were ahead of our time. At the time when we were out, anime wasn't as popular here. Like, people, it was very cultish, and it wasn't a mainstream thing, and Black culture wasn't really, like, we were present in anime culture in the hubs of our corners of our little sections, but like it wasn't mainstream like it is now, where you see a lot of, mainstream artists using anime in their music videos and on their default pictures. And when we were doing it, we were not cool. It was something that, if you were cosplaying, it was like, you was doing that in the corner, your house, because nobody wanted you, to know that, because they weren't really aware of what that was. So it was really cool for Danity Kane at that time, because I think we were a bit ahead of our time, because we were already addressing the culture of anime in a time where I think, it wasn't as mainstream as it is now.
Yeah, definitely. It's gotten super popular with
Netflix, and
Michael B. Jordan.
Exactly, Michael B. Jordan, Netflix, all these, and Megan Thee Stallion now, because she loves it, and so now, because Megan Thee Stallion is showing people that like fine ass girls can love anime, it's becoming more and more of a popular thing, which I think is really cool, because it shows that Black culture, and not just Black culture, but us, we as a culture, women and Black women, have been a part of this culture for so long, but we've had to kind of been, like pushed away from it, because no one thought that there was even a lane for us there. Even me working with Adult Swim, they're learning more and more that there are a lot of Black animators and a lot of Black, people who watch, anime and like love it. You know what I mean? So it's been really cool to see the evolution of it in urban culture and our culture and really in mainstream culture as well and pop culture.
Right. Do you remember the character for the anime character that you made?
Yeah, she was redhead. She was red. She was out in her she's 14, 15. Her superpower was that she can turn into a phoenix. So she could telekinesis specifically, but she didn't know she had it. You know what I mean? So she had a traumatic experience. She lost both her parents. Her parents were scientists, and lo and behold, they had it's kind of like Incredible Hulk where she had a recessive gene that was in her that was triggered when her parents died. And lo and behold, she, has this amazing voice and she tries to be a singer. And when she sings, she controls the entire, the people that are in front of her. And then the label that's trying to sign her is an evil label. It was a whole thing. I did that with Aigo Manga, which was a really cool, sub company that did animation and did comic books, and I was able to facilitate that comic book, which was really cool. And we had 2 editions that came out when we created it that I'm really proud of. I had no clue that something I created in high school would become this this household name.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
She's badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have the pictures. I'll send them to you. You can see what she looks like. She's really cool, but she's young and she has red hair. It's to her shoulder. And she's a chocolatey brown girl. She's really great. But she was beautiful, but she was also again, awkward. She didn't know what she had. She didn't know her capabilities. So she wasn't a cool chick. She was someone that was a little bit off kilter, quiet, but also a badass.
Yeah, that's so cool. I definitely want to see all of those pictures. I want to see how
I'll show you the comic book.
Yeah.
I'll show them to you.
I need to read that ASAP.
Yeah, it was really good. I was really proud of it. It was a lot of work because we were independent, and Aigo Manga was a smaller company, so distribution and going to Comic-Con was a lot for us. But at the time, again, like I said, we were fairly new, and it was a fairly new movement, and I wanted to make sure that I worked with Black illustrators and female illustrators. So that was really fun to do because even in the process of things, I always wanted to make sure when I stepped out, always pushing us forward, So it was really cool to work with that company, and it was really cool to get that comic out.
Yeah, and then you also have been learning, or you learned how to animate as well. I saw with the Adult Swim singles, and how's that process?
I started out doing music with them, and I had always wanted to work with Adult Swim. You grew up loving everything, when you're sneaking to watch it, because of course it's not for children, but you're wanting to do it. I always thought Adult Swim was clever, and I always wanted to work with them beyond just music. It just so happened when I went to, doing my underground music, doing more of my indie stuff, I was making music that Adult Swim was prime for. They loved everything that I was doing, and they reached out and said, we'd love for you to do a singles project. And I didn't want to use my artistry as a musician to try to bamboozle my way in. So I just wanted to develop a relationship with them. So for the last 2 to 3 years, I was doing their music. I was developing really good relationships with them, giving them my music, and then, learning to license with them because I owned all my music. They didn't really have to go through a lot of trouble. So it was easy to facilitate the masters, and they just found me easy to work with because I didn't have a label or anything. And then the 4th year I worked with them and said, guys, I draw too. And they were like, yeah, okay. And I said, no, I really do. And I made a portfolio and I said it to them, and they were like, oh my God, okay, yeah, you do. Let's start small and see what we could do. And that turned into 3 years of working with them as an animator. And I've been doing a lot of bumps with them that have been aired on television. I've done stuff for Rick and Morty. I've done stuff for Venture Brothers. I've done stuff for Family Guy. And it's been really great. And the cool thing is I get to also license my music as well. So I'll play my music with the bumps that we do.
Yeah. That's so cool too, because I feel like Cartoon Network's bumps are the most legendary ones, especially
so good.
Tsunami and that music. Yeah.
So good. So good. And so that was something that I'm very grateful to Adult Swim for, and we have a great relationship, and I'm rocking strong with them, and I've been rocking with them for now 4 years.
Yeah, it's so dope. I love that.
I'm not mad at that at all. So yeah, not only am I doing the music, but I'm also animating with them more and more. And every time I don't just do it myself, I try to collaborate with other um, illustrators as well to make sure that, we're sharing the wealth. And 9 times, like literally every time I work with someone, they're either female or a person of color.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah.
I just want to add that for Adult Swim because, it's, they haven't been that, like they have, but it's slow and, growing. And I want to make sure that, like, if I can add to that, then I want to be able to push that forward for Adult Swim because I think that's important.
Yeah, I think not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that they're giving me the platform to be able to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of women of color, you also appeared on Insecure.
Yay!
Which is really cool. How was that
funny.
experience? Yeah.
So good. Issa hit me up and she was like, I know this is so random, but she was like, I know you probably don't even want to play this because she's like, I know you really could sing really good, but she's like, we're looking for a girl that could like not like think like she can't sing and like we need her fast. Would you be willing to do it? And I was like, Issa, that is amazing. And yes, I would love to because I love comedy and I already know what I want to do. So she was like, okay, I'm going to let you do it. And sure enough, like I went to the fitting and I found these pants and I was like, yes, Issa, I'm about to go off. And sure enough, they let me kind of freestyle and improv, and I act a fool. It was so much fun because, I got to, make fun and not take it seriously, and it was so good. And I was so happy to be a part of it. And I told her she needs to stop playing and make that character for real because I die every time I see it. But that was a really cool moment. And the reason that came to be was because I was asked to license my song Sands for the finale of that episode of the season prior to that. And it went really well. And Issa was a big fan of Danity Kane, and we met. And I told her I was really happy with the things that she was doing, and if I could ever do something, I would be open to doing it. And she gave me that opportunity, and it was so much fun. I really fuck with what Issa is doing because she's consistently putting on, indie artists. She's I wanted to do more with indie culture. I pitched a few things to her about doing an independent award show, and I'm still pushing her to do it. She at the time she was like, they're not big enough yet, but I've been trying to push the indie movement forward for a long time, and I'm really happy that she's on board to do that as well. And I hope it grows, and I hope she continues to push that agenda forward as much as I am.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Or you mean like indie films, indie music, or like the whole
indie
scene?
I wanted an indie award show I pitched that to Issa to do together. Like I wanted her to help me fund it and finally get an independent awards to give indie artists an opportunity to have an award show because we are not present and we're not celebrated in the mainstream culture as it goes for award shows. We don't have a category. Right. We're not present. We have it on Billboard. There's independent charts on Billboard, but we don't have an award. You don't have it on the Grammys. You don't have it at Billboard. You don't have it in BET. You don't have it American Music. We're not presented there at all. So I wanted to create a space where we would have an entire award show strictly based off of the independent artist in all forms.
That's such a good point too, because I feel like now more than ever there's so many independent artists just because of the way the internet's set up. Like so many people can create music and put out music, but so many are not being celebrated either because
you're celebrated. Like for example, if you're in hip hop, you win, right? So like you can be indie like a Doja Cat. You can be indie and win because of streaming, and that's great. But again, you're being celebrated because you have now breached into the mainstream culture.
Right.
But there are also artists who are doing great at an indie level. Like who's the person that was the head of SoundCloud, right? And was the number one streaming artist on SoundCloud. That person we don't even know who that person is. They're doing incredibly on SoundCloud and killing it, but because they have not breached the numbers it takes to be on Billboard's main chart, we'll never give them their due for what they really do until they breach that, right? So there's all these there's like CD Baby, there's all these different really cool, there's TuneCore, there's DistroKid, there's all these really cool like online avenues, TikTok and Patreon, where there's like incredible places of people doing great things, but they're not celebrated beyond what like what there is. They have it in different things like, you know, the Weeby Awards where certain people on YouTube and doing like really cool things with the internet, which is a really incredible award show, but that's not for musicians.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So you got to really, or animators or illustrators or maybe indie directors who are signed to agencies that are doing incredible things, making short films and you know, there's a lack there. And I was really pitching that with Issa to see if her and I could really create something monumental with that.
Well, I hope you get to do it because that sounds amazing.
I hope so too. I've been on her. I pitched it to her and she was like, I can't really do this right now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's funny though, because that's kind of what's happening like with their character in the show now I'm realizing, because she's throwing the block party to kind of like bring up indie artists and like spotlight them in the community. So
isn't that interesting?
It's on her mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely on her mind.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it happens.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And so speaking of that though, I saw you are also going to be a judge on Making the Bands Come Back. Are you excited? What can you say about it?
Yeah, I am. It sucks that the pandemic kind of stopped everything. So I hope that it can keep moving again. So I'm interested to see how we'll use technology to, like, you know, give some kids some chances, because that's important. And I really would love to be a part of that journey with them. But it's fun. It was great being back with everyone. It was, like nostalgic and kind of weird to be able to go from, you know, being in front of them to also now being the person judging. Really interesting dynamic, but very grateful to see so much talent.
Yeah. Is it like, how does it feel to like kind of see like, oh, I was there like years ago and like now I'm on the other side?
Wild. So fucking wild. So crazy. So like, I just realized how much I had no idea what the fuck was happening. Like I was deer in headlights, you know, and to see the same eyes. I just want to be a kind of an olive branch to them, because we didn't really have that. There was nobody saying, look, fuck the bullshit, like this is what it is. And I would love to be that for them, you know, because you can get thrown into a pound of crazy. And when you have judges that are so, like, you know, those boys, his sons are such, they're already, you know, at a level, and, you know, they're living a different life than what these kids are living, you know. And so it's always good to have someone to ground them and say, you know, keep them in the focus of things. And I'm happy to be that. So it's really cool to, like, kind of be, like, looking at them like, yo, I've been there, I've done that, you know what I mean? And this is what you need to do for you, because to me it's beyond just the show. I want them to be okay even if they don't get picked. Like, I want them to be ready regardless, because that was the conversation that I wish someone had to me, you know, that regardless, like, you can figure this shit out, you know? And that's kind of what I want to be for them and for the show.
Yeah. And you're doing a lot too. You're also the owner of Papa Ted's.
Papa Ted.
Yeah. I looked at all the pictures and I'm like, it just makes me drool because all the food looks so good.
So good. And you know what? I'm not going to even front. It is so, so good. I'm so proud of Papa Ted's. I've been wanting to lift up my city for a long time. I went through Katrina. I was homeless. I lost everything. I lost a grandfather. His name was Theodore. We called him Papa Ted, and that's what I named the business after. Everyone knows my journey as a vegan. My father was diagnosed with lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He still has it. And veganism kind of saved us. And when he decided I told him I would do the diet with him if it got him better. Right. And it did. And I just stayed during the course. And in the midst of it, coming from New Orleans, I needed food to still taste good. I was going to die a slow, bland death in the food world. And so I started, you know, trying things in the kitchen. And lo and behold, there was something that stuck. This sandwich was really popular in the house, and before you know it, everyone was asking me to cook it, and then they were like, you should sell this. And as soon as I got home, I tried it and see how it worked, and it was a huge success. And so the recipe is my own. We sell a vegan sandwich 3 different ways, and we also sell a stash ball, which is called a stash ball because our pink mustache is our logo. If everyone from New Orleans knows, the snowball is, like, really popular in New Orleans, and it's, like, best thing ever. It is iced perfection. And we sell our organic version of it. So everything around us, Papa Ted's, the entire business is eco-friendly and biodegradable, which means when we have art happening at all times from different local artists, and we have people come and, support the local artists. So it's important that they put money into the local talent here. And while they're painting or doing their art, even the paint, everything around them is eco-friendly and plant-based. We have different local DJs that come spin while we're selling the food, and it becomes an event. And because of the pandemic, we've had to pivot. And I've been lucky enough to partner with one of our most popular juiceries here, and we've been doing a delivery service, which was really cool. I turned it around in a week. We had never delivered before, and now we're delivering, and we've sold out every time. So it's been really, really cool, and I've been partnering up with different local artists to do different things. So I'll be working with another artist and doing a live stream so people can donate to the artist via Papa Ted. So again, we are constantly doing outreach for the local community, but we're also trying to do it in a healthy way. So we are a sustainable sensory experience.
Yeah, I read up a little bit about it, and I saw even the packaging that the food comes in.
Everything. Yeah. Yes, everything is. Yeah, and the packaging, it's 1975 comic paper.
Yeah.
So it's vintage comic paper, and everything around it. Everything from where you eat to where it's held in can be recycled. But not only that, it's quality. So, if you wanted to keep the paper, you could keep it and then maybe sell it in 10 years and have some money in your hand in the process. But, again, the comics are owed to my culture, what I loved growing up. I wanted to have a little bit of me within the branding.
Right.
My grandfather was sweet, but he was surly, so I wanted to have a little bit of pop culture. I am a musician, I am an artist, and I wanted to incorporate that within the packaging of the brand. And I also wanted people to know that, being eco-friendly and being green doesn't have to be bland. Everything that we see when we see recyclable is brown and
right.
green. And, when we think about something that's vegan and healthy, it's one color. And I want people to see that there can be an artistic experience and it still make the earth better. And I don't want to lead with that. That's just a happenstance. So we don't push the agenda forward that we're vegan. We want you to just taste the sandwich and see what you feel. And then if it happens to be vegan, then great. If not, cool. But we really don't lead with, we're not throwing the veganism and the eco-friendly down your throat. We just want to create a space for you. It just so happens to be really, really good for you. And in the process, you get to see some incredible art by some incredible locals in New Orleans. And our main goal and our main charity and what our mission is to constantly lift up the local artists in the community. So this was built for the creatives of NOLA. Everyone's welcome, but it's to showcase, New Orleans in a really cool way, in an eco-friendly way, but also an opportunity for kids who may not afford to be able to go to Anoka because we only have one art school. We're New Orleans. We're one of the most renowned art cities in the world, and we only have one prestigious art school. Wow. And that bothers me to no end. And so I just want to create a space for those who can't afford to go to NOCA, who didn't make the audition, but are incredibly talented. I want to create a hub for them. And that's what we've created, and it's been going really well. So I'm really proud of it. If you guys want to check it out, go to @PapaTed'sTruck on social media or go to PapaTed'sTruck.com and check out how really cool it is. It's really fun. And follow the pink mustache. Anytime you see a pink mustache, there's something fun happening.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Next time I'm in New Orleans, I'm going to look out for it.
Come through. Yes, come through.
Yeah, I love New Orleans. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
Such good people.
Yeah.
Such good people. We're a good place. Yeah.
So you mentioned the stash ball, which is kind of influenced by the snowball?
The snowball. Yeah, the New Orleans snowball.
Make sure I'm getting it right. But I also saw that you are of Haitian descent, which I am also. My mom is Haitian.
Yes, I'm so good.
Yeah. I want to know, what's your favorite Haitian food, and if you have any food at Papa Ted's that's influenced by Haitian food as well.
I don't. And you know what's crazy is, so my Haitian culture is so new. I didn't even know that my dad, my dad and my family told me we were Haitian, but they didn't do. Our great-grandfather was killed in New Orleans because the South, if you were educated and you spoke a different language, they were killed. And so my great-great-grandfather didn't teach my grandfather French or Creole because of it. And so there was a lack of teaching our culture and passing it down. And what I've learned is that I've had to reintroduce myself to my culture. So I haven't been able to incorporate that within the Papa Ted's journey yet. But I have been eating Haitian food, and I will say like I don't have a favorite, but I don't like, and because I'm vegan, it's a very hard one because Haitian food is very meaty.
Right.
But I have tried legume. Is it legume?
Oh, legume? Yeah.
Legume,
Mm-hmm.
and yummy. Before I turned vegan, like so good. And I ate it when I was in Jacmel, when I went to Haiti, and that's like I've never tasted anything that good. Like authentic, beautiful. But I'm again in New Orleans, sugarcane, because we had so many Haitian people that had came over.
Right.
Sugarcane is another big field here, and I thought that I had the best sugarcane here, and then I went to Haiti. No way, best sugarcane I've ever had in my life.
Oh my God, yeah, I still haven't been. I need to go. My mom is
It's
also
so good. I've been to Cape Haitian. I've been to Port-au-Prince. I've been to the Soleil. I've been to and I've been to Jacmel, which is where my family is from. Jacmel is beautiful. Like Jacmel looks like the French Quarter. The downtown Jacmel looks like the French Quarter of New Orleans, which was mind blowing to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to go. My mom is the same
What's
way.
What's your favorite food?
I love griot, which is the fried pork.
Griot, but that's so, I can't do the pork, man.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's the only thing. I was like, I could give up pork except for that.
Well, okra is good. I like malanga. Malanga is great, but like, they call it okra, but I don't know. It's so meaty.
Yeah.
It's a little meaty.
I like jonjon too, the black rice.
Jonjon put up, I like that.
That's good too, yeah. But yeah,
I'm still new and I'm still learning, and that's what I had when I was out there. I've not had any Haitian food while back home in the States, because I'm not gonna lie, in LA, I don't know, nobody's pointed me in that direction yet where the best Haitian restaurant is, but I know if I was in New York that somebody would get me together real fast.
Definitely. Come to Brooklyn, get some Haitian
food. Yeah, I like to say, because I've not been failed by any type of African or Caribbean food in New York yet. But in LA it's a bit difficult. Like even just like I only have one or two great Ethiopian spots that I go to, but like I haven't found a really great Haitian spot in LA yet. They might be out there. No one's really introduced that to me yet.
They're really rare outside of New York, I've noticed. Even in New York, there's only a few. There's maybe 10.
It's crazy that it's so, like, you have to go to Miami.
Yeah, Miami. I'm from Miami.
Like, yeah, because that's where the Haitians is there, full out. Like, that's where the good stuff is. Yeah, but again, I'm like learning from scratch, and I'm proud that I've had to do it on, that I decided to do it, but I am doing it on my own, and so it has been it's been a journey to take your time to say, you know what, I'm going to look into my roots. I'm going to see what this is, who I am. And I've had to teach my dad, and say, Dad, this is, a part of my life, because our names are there, our heritage. My dad's, like, they went from Francois to being afraid. And that's a real thing, in the South, where you're afraid to be who you are because you're afraid that you'll be ostracized in that time during slavery and during that time in the 50s of, drinking out of one fountain. My dad, our family name went from Francois to Francisco to Frank. And that was a hard thing. And so for the first time, my brother, his son, is the first generation of Francois that we've had since the death of my great-great-grandfather. So, like, just the level of, like, us learning again who we are and loving who we are and having to teach us, ourselves. So it has been a beautiful journey, me learning my culture, me learning my background, what happened to us. And it has been beautiful. Now, in the times that I visit Haiti, I've seen my family, that I see people that look like me. And I've seen, I've seen New Orleans in a different light because of it, because we've had so many Haitians here culturally in New Orleans. So it's been beautiful to just relearn everything. And I'm very grateful to the Haitian community for even opening their arms and being so kind and loving with receiving me. Like I've gone to Haiti through 2 different charities where we've brought tech to the schools and to the females at the schools in Cape Haitian, and like I really wanted to give back. The first time I went, it was 7 months after. Like just really trying to like be honest and genuine in my path,
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing happened with me. My mom didn't want to teach me Creole because she was afraid of me getting ostracized because she was bullied when she was younger in the States. And it's just really sad how like that stopped it from like continuing on, you know. But I'm trying to learn now though. That's one of my goals for the next few years.
Well, you and I can learn together.
Yeah.
We'll try to learn together.
I want to bring it back to Sailor Moon for a little bit, or back, yeah. So my like weirdish question is, if each Danity Kane member and Diddy
Oh my God.
were a Sailor Scout, who would they be?
Holy shit balls. Oh my God. Dang. Okay. You say and Diddy?
Yeah.
Holy shit balls.
I'll open it up to Sailor Moon characters, if that makes it easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say Shannon is Sailor Moon. I'd say D Woods is Sailor Jupiter.
Okay.
I'd say Aubrey is Sailor Venus. No, I'd say Drea is Sailor Venus. I would be Sailor Mars. What is Aubrey? Aubrey would be Mercury.
Okay.
Puff is Tuxedo Mask all day. Every day, all day.
Right.
That's my crew, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. Perfect. And do you have any other projects you're working on? I know you have a lot on your plate already, but
right, that was 1,000 projects.
Right.
Yeah, I have an album that's done. It's already done. I have a whole album that I'm sitting on, but I'm waiting for a specific time to release it because I want the story to be right, and the energy to be right. But I'm really proud of this project. I think it's the best I've ever done, and I'm really excited to see what this release will be. So that's coming. I don't know when it is. I'm not really in a rush to put it out. I want the energy to be right when I do. And I also want the visuals to be at a place because the visuals always matter to me. The story has to make sense, and visually I want people to receive it in a certain way. But I do have an album that is done.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the next thing that I'll be releasing. And in 2021, we have postponed live performances, so I have to go on tour at some point when we're allowed to be out. Jazz Fest we were supposed to do this year that we are now doing next year. Adult Swim Fest I was supposed to do, so I'll be doing that next year as well. And I definitely want to go overseas and tour, so that'll be in the forefront too, as well.
Yeah. And you just released an album last year as well, New Breed.
I did, New Breed, which is a love letter to New Orleans, which I'm very proud of. I wanted to expose and talk about the Mardi Gras Indians because I'm a part of the tribe, the Washita Nation tribe with Chief Montana. And I wanted people to get a different view of New Orleans in a different way, more progressive, more electronic, but still very New Orleans. And very proud of that album. And that's out right now, too, yeah.
Yeah, great album.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And do you have any advice for any aspiring singers, artists, animators?
Don't listen to anybody. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. Don't listen to anyone that fights. Figure your shit out, and when you do it exactly your way. That's my 2 cents on it. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. They're throwing out just like everybody was trying to see what sticks. So don't feel bad, wherever you are. Just commit to that shit and go.
Would you say that for the future Making the Band contestants too?
Yeah, nobody knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
No one. But whatever you do, commit to that shit and own it.
Right.
And you'll be good. But don't believe that any of these motherfuckers know what they're doing. They don't.
We're all just winging it.
Making it up. Faking it and making it. That's exactly making it up as we go and then see what happens.
Right.
And hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Sailor Moon version you saw had this, but there was a version in the 90s that came out. At the end of every episode, she would have like a Sailor Moon says phrase, and it'd be kind of like a PSA or kind of like sums up the message of the episode. So if you had a PSA or like your like final like thought, what would it be? So Sailor Dawn says.
Sailor Dawn says, find out who you are and do that shit on purpose.
Ooh. I love it.
That's it.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome.
Infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
You can find me at Dawn Richard, DAWNRICHARD, on all social medias. It doesn't change. It's that all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But you can call me Dawn because no one gets my last name right, except for if you're from New Orleans or Paris or Haiti.
Yes.
And you can find my business at Papa Ted's Truck on all social media and the web papatedtruck.com. And if you're in New Orleans, come see us because we are excited to see you. And that's all of it.
And find the pink sashes around there.
Follow the pink mustache.
Yes.
You're awesome.
Thank you. And of course, I'm Victoria L. Johnson, aka Miss Old School on Twitter and Instagram. It's Old School with a K. And you can find the podcast on Mooney's Club on Twitter and Mooney's_Club on Instagram. And thank you for listening, Mooney. And thank you for being on the show. Dawn?
Ow!